Porter's use of cutting in 1903 helped audiences make the link between two actions going on at the same time in different locations. There is some debate about whether cross-cutting can be found in his next film, The Great Train Robbery. However, I'd argue that the seeds of it are there. In this scene, we see the robbers entering the train. The film then cuts to the security guard, who is watching the money being transported. As some time passes before the robbers enter, I would argue that the audiences did make the connection that they were approaching the guard's carriage from another location. Even though the audience couldn't see the robbers, and although it only contains one cut across two locations, it's a workable form of cross-cutting. It was D.W. Griffith, however, who pushed the technique of cross-cutting further, in this excerpt from A Corner of Wheat. The wealthy tycoon celebrates his successes in the wheat market, and this is cross-cut with a shot of people who now cannot afford bread. The cut back again to the wealthy people enjoying their food amplifies the disparity between the rich and the poor. Much has been made of the fact that Griffith contributed to practical editing techniques in the US, whilst in Russia more creative explorations were being devised. This is certainly true, however Griffith's creative use of editing for emotional impact cannot be denied in this scene. However, it was Griffith's film from 1911, The Lonedale Operator, that really showed what cross-cutting can do. His cutting between the operator calling for help and the man on the other end of the line added a real sense of danger and tension to the scene. It greatly heightened the emotional impact of the moment for the viewers, and it's a pivotal moment in film editing history. This technique of cross-cutting between locations to add tension to sequences has changed very little from its conception over 100 years ago. Christopher Nolan used the technique extensively in the last two films of his Batman trilogy, frequently cross-cutting between multiple locations and action in order to juggle multiple storylines, strengthen how closely linked together these sequences are, heighten the tension, and ultimately strengthen their dramatic impact. At this stage, it would be worth gathering notes on how Porter and Griffith developed cross-cutting techniques in early cinema, and then reflect on how these techniques are still used by today's modern filmmakers. To develop your skills as a filmmaker, you should also film and edit your own cross-cutting sequence, and keep the material which could be useful for later assessment of learning outcome 1.